What's up, everybody? Jackson here today with my little brother Chubbs.
Hello, everyone.
And today we're going to be talking about Ubisoft's AC Odyssey's DLC. I think it's a Shadow War.
Shadow Heritage.
What the fuck is up with putting Shadow in all of your games industry? What's up with Shadow? Is that like one that tested good in focus groups?
Yeah, it tested it good.
Or something? I don't know how they decide upon these things. I just know Shadow seems to be coming up a lot lately when I think of like samey open world pseudo RPGs.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to judge Odyssey's RPG elements because I haven't played them. But we have an article today written by Joe Juba.
Juba, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yep. Joe Juba on Game Informer. I'm going to link this below. This is an excellent fucking article. I stand behind this guy 100%. On Twitter, people are slamming him and like making this out about something that it's not even that.
Which is just like a little portion of the overall problems that he has with this stuff.
Yeah. You see a lot of simpletons on social media, and they like to open their fucking mouths and talk because they're the most important voice. And they never really stop to think about what they're saying, why they're saying it, and if it's a relevant thing to say. I've done it myself. We've all done this. This is fucking something that 100% we're all a folly to, especially on social media where it's on the internet, it's out in the air, not face to face with anybody. It's easy just to go, blah, loud fucking noises, you know.
Yeah.
Prostrate yourself, you know,
Here's the first thing I thought of. Blech.
Yeah, exactly. And so you see people complaining about his articles, basically boiling down one little point that he has is that it's a forced hetero relationship. And he doesn't even specifically say that.
No.
I think the only bit where he actually talks about it was when he was saying railroading. And he said, all he says is maybe your hero isn't straight. So before we jump to that, the whole point of this whole controversy, I mean, Ubisoft themselves have come out and apologized for this. Like I saw headlines, Ubisoft apologizes for the way the second DLC, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the problem. They aren't creating an RPG. They're creating an action game with RPG elements.
Yes.
And I would argue...
I think that's been Assassin's Creed from the jump. Has been an action game, but with RPG-like elements.
Because only up until recently did they really amp that up and fill those out.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, when I played Origins, I was like, good, I hope they expand on this. And I felt the same way when I played Far Cry Primal. I was like, I hope they expand on this. Give us choices. Give us, a narrative, a multi-pronged narrative that gives the player room to fuck around and play around within this story.
To see multiple different stories play out, which only increases replayability value.
Yeah, especially if they're well written and interesting. You're going to want to take that second 100+ hour playthrough to see the different changes.
Oh, yeah.
And from what I understand about AC Odyssey, and I could be 100% wrong, but from what I understand is the overarching narrative pretty much stays on a linear track, but with a lot of little like fucking around going on in between.
Right, individual choices in the moment.
There's romance options, and maybe there's different ways to encounter or go at quests. I don't know. I have not played it. I'm not going to judge that.
Right.
But from what I understand, that's the way it is.
Right. They tried to amp up those RPG elements a little bit more.
So, like, at the end of the day, it would be like, so Geralt can have a relationship with Triss or Yen, right? At the end of the day, it's a choice between those two ladies. But behind that is, like, the layered romance options with, like, the sister and Blood and Wine. Yeah, Kira Metz.
There's multiple different characters.
Shawnee,
yeah, that you run across,
And from what I understand, the romance options within AC or Odyssey is they're all like that. Less than like the Triss and Yen choice. Where the Triss and Yen choice affects your ending and is a part of the
story
ending.
Overall.
Yes. Those other quests, once you're done with those, I mean, of course, that's like to being insulting to say that to compare them to that, because in the case of just Kira Metz alone, not only can you romance her, but you can also decide to kill her or join her to your side. And if you do that, you're able to see her end up with Lambert, and it's all these different twists and turns. That's not really going on. It's like a one-night stand with these romance options, and then you move past it and you're on to something else.
Right. And it's just like a little cutscene, and then it's just never talked about again.
From what I understand.
Yeah.
And from the way this guy explains it, this Joe explains it in his article.
Right.
That's
how
what the
he
way
explains it.
That's the way I was,
as well.
and that's kind of what I expected. Honestly, going from Origins, seeing Origins, I didn't see that they would have gotten it 100% correct after that.
Right.
And the problem is that they're fucking around now in like the AC universe still. So we got Desmond, we got this fucking Animanus or whatever the fuck that no one gives a fuck about. I mean, I'm not going to say no one, because there are, of course, going to be people who really like that.
Who like the story.
Yes.
Right.
Me personally, that has always been when the game fucking dies. I remember that in the first game, from the very first game, when it took you back and you're just like, oh, I'm walking around a pretty looking office being really boring and lame and listening to exposition, and I just want to be a fucking assassin going at Templars right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want to be doing. That's where my enjoyment was coming from.
Oh,
and that was back in the first one. And that's been every single fucking one. I played that one, the Black Flag, and it like takes you to this whole building that you have to explore. It's like they expanded on this shit. What is arguably, and I'm just gonna say, for me, it's the worst part of the game because of like the mundane nature of it.
Right.
And like this kind
Another
of
thing is,
very convoluted sci-fi-esque way of explaining you traveling through DNA. It's like, man, why do we have to even do that? Just do a historical fucking game.
Yeah, or like, I don't even mind the overall narrative, but what it feels like is that they don't know where the story's ending up because they don't want it to end. Because this is a franchise, right? They make an Assassin's Creed game every year. And so to keep making a game every year, the story's going to get muddied down and watered down.
Yeah,
that's why, like...
because they're going to be explaining things and, like, adding on and having to connect the dots.
Yeah, and there is that story that is canon with Desmond, Ezio. I can't remember the first guy. I think his name was Altair or something like that.
Something like that.
But there is that canon story, right? But after that, then from what I understand, the idea, instead of having the main character be behind the machine, it was like the player character themselves, like a faceless person was being hooked up in the machine.
Yeah.
And so they like tried to play it off like you, the player, were actually being put into the machine to play an assassin from, your ancestor.
In Black Flag? That's what Black Flag...
I'm not sure exactly.
That's how Black Flag, I'm pretty sure, felt
like.
From what I can remember. I never finished. I played probably like 4 hours or something. They gave it away on the Uplay store.
Right.
So, like, I was just like, sure, I'll take it. Played it for a couple hours. I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. But
it's just Assassin's Creed boils down.
It just feels like Supernatural, where just again, and it's not really going anywhere, so they have to keep adding to and keep it going somehow. And so, like, that's why we're here at this point.
I got a pop quiz for you, Chubbs. You played Origins. I played Origins. I'm gonna test you real quick. Who was the girl that was in the machine in the future? Why was she doing it out of a cave?
From what I understand, she was like a renegade corporate person, because
see, you don't even know for sure.
All right,
bro.
well, I don't know the names
because that shit's boring as fuck.
No, I don't know the names of all this bullshit or like specific details, but the overall
how many
general
faceless
idea,
corporate businessmen are you supposed to remember?
Exactly,
Jesus
exactly, right? And all I remember is it was like the Masons, and then like it was the Freemasons or the Templars. No, it was the Templars, and then you had the Assassin's Creed, right? And so the Templars were the people in the future who created the machine, and they were actually putting Desmond in the machine to relive the memories of his ancestor because they needed answers. What those answers were, I still don't know. And I don't know what they're still trying to find.
You're doing a lot better than me. Like, I would have just been like, I don't know.
But essentially, that girl in Assassin's Creed Origins...
stab motherfuckers and clear towers.
Exactly. But that girl in Assassin's Creed Origins, from what I understand, she actually worked for the Templars and was an operative for them and worked with them. but because she was like sick or something, she was like a rogue agent. She didn't really listen to orders, so she was told not to do the things that she was doing in Assassin's Creed.
What was she doing? Origins was like she was trying to see the origins of the Creed. Like,
yeah,
and then
like, that's the thing.
I guess Desmond showed up at the end, or someone from the past showed up at the end. Yeah, I don't remember.
I'm not sure about any of that shit, and that's why it really boils down to it's this game series that has been going on for too long, and they don't know where they want it to go, because like I said, a game every year.
But the thing is they still want to connect it to all the games. So back to AC Odyssey, what they did, their biggest fuck up was they still wanted to have that ending where it was like with that chick, Bayek's ancestor, that I don't remember her name.
Right.
But Bayek's great granddaughter or whatever, that was going back in his mind and his wife's mind.
Right.
And, you know, doing those missions, finding out whatever she was supposed to be finding out. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I will blank out and zone that shit out and forget it.
It's because, like, a lot of it is just filler to keep that side of the story going.
Like, I even tried, like, to go to her laptop and, like, read her laptop. And it was,
read,
like messages files between her and her
It was literally,
friend, and it was, like, what?
And then they had, like, backlogs, which is literally just a lore book that you could go back and read about Desmond and all these other characters and shit.
I'm just like, nah. Like, I just want to kill Egyptians and jump down pyramids.
This is the beginning, right? This is like the prequel.
Yeah, I want to kill Romans.
If this is the prequel, then anybody stepping into this game should be fully aware and understand. Right?
But it's not.
And not at all. Because instead
you needed
of it being,
to have known. They've always, like you said, it's muddied the water.
Yeah, it just kept going, and now it's very hard to follow, especially if you're just barely jumping in.
And when you're trying to make this into an RPG where, in my opinion, RPG should have a twisting narrative that evolves at the choices given to the player.
Yes.
And I think that it should have, I mean, if it's only like 3, I think that that's great, but if you can add more and layer that shit, like Witcher, like this Elex game I'm playing.
Right.
If you can layer that shit with multiple little choices that affect multiple little things that like affect those 3 big decisions, and then those 3 big decisions affect, you know, the ending of the game and all this, if you can do that, I'm supremely impressed. And that's what I feel like I want out of an RPG. I don't need a skill tree that I just fill up and unlock everything in.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time of doing these fucking points on the map that are marked for me that I can go clear. And now, oh, look, I've cleared this part of the map. Let's go to a new part of the map.
Yep.
And it's within that, it's like very samey gameplay that occurs over and over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't a bad thing. I mean, some of those games are great. I can get into those games too. Like, I enjoyed a lot of my playthroughs through Shadow of War. Despite all my problems with that, I had some fun doing those missions and like watching the map.
Well,
being a completionist, I love that shit.
Well, there is fun to be had in like that open world of just random activities on the map. But but that isn't an RPG. That's an open world game. To be called an RPG role playing game is to feel like you, the player, have control over the role that is the character within the game, right? Like you are shaping that character and molding that character to feel like this is going back to Dungeons and Dragons tabletop shit where you wouldn't call each other by your real names. You would call each other your names from the fucking game. Why? Because we're role playing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I don't have a problem with them being predetermined characters, like in this case, or in the case of Elex, or in the case of The Witcher, where it's a predetermined character that this is who they are.
But it's like a blank slate character where you...
Not blank.
Well, just enough information is given, but as far as like the individual interactions, attitude, and all that shit, it's up to you.
It gives you the choices to play around within that.
And then the skill tree, the different builds, all that is a definite part of that. You know what I mean? So it's not a blank slate, but it kind of is.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because of all the different options and layers within the character that there are.
Well, I'd say that the narrative is a blank slate, but good characters will always ring true throughout everything.
Right.
And even if, like, for instance, with Geralt, you decide to let a certain monster go, or you decide to kill that monster, like, he's gonna respond like Geralt would.
Right, exactly.
If that makes sense. And and so like if that's the case with this game, I can understand like them picking that, okay, like this is who you're playing. In the case of like Origins, it was like you're Bayek.
Right.
And I think they did better this time because they did offer up that female option. I think that's important.
Right.
I mean, you don't have to do it and it's not going to hurt your game, but I think it would be cool if you offered up a female option as a main character so that women who are playing can pick them. Sometimes guys like to play girls. I like to play girls in a lot of games. You know what I mean? Like, call me a pig or what, but I enjoy looking at a great looking female character model while I fucking play video games. Fucking sue me.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, to have that option there, that was one of my complaints with Origins. Because it's set up in a way to allow you... I can't remember his wife.
And it forces you to play his wife.
Was it Aya?
I think that's... Yeah.
It was Aya or something.
Something like that. But regardless, it forced you to play her.
Yeah, and it's set up for you to be able to make that choice.
Yeah, you're even stealth killing. You have the same weapons that you would see on Bayek. Obviously, Bayek, because he's your character, he had multiple different weapons. But still, she had the twin blades, right? She had the stealth kills. She had the dagger.
There's no reason why you couldn't. And there's no reason except for they just didn't want to add the effort of putting in her in the cutscenes, putting her into the story,
having her as a playable character
perspective.
Yeah,
there's no fucking reason why she couldn't have just been in Bayek's shoes and Bayek could have been in her shoes.
Yeah,
during the course of that game. So I thought that was cool when they did that with Odyssey. It's a game I'll probably get at some point. I'll be waiting on a sell. I think that I have a pretty good idea of what to expect, and I don't think that it's worth $60 fucking.
No,
that's just me personally.
Right.
And so like this, what he's saying here.
This is crazy though. Like it's like when
how he's being attacked.
Game Informer is telling you to be wary of your purchase.
Game Informer is telling you not to buy DLC. Do you understand that? That's what's happening. And you fucking ignorant idiots are just all about, oh, it's just because it's a fucking non-hetero. It's a hetero romance. Yeah, it's a forced hetero romance. It's because of this, that, or the other. Dude, all he's saying is this is a fucking RPG. This DLC adds nothing new.
Not that it forces the hetero romance, which isn't even what he says. It forces a romance.
It's a one line.
It's just that it forces the romance to, like, a character that he didn't even like. So he didn't enjoy that romance as much as he would have if he had been able to pick someone else.
It's an RPG that up to this point has allowed you to make romance choices. Yeah. Has allowed you to make, and he even says, like, they're not huge choices that affect the overall game, but he's saying they're there. And you can feel their significance at points.
Right.
This is like, it says, this is a game that's telling you it's an RPG, but then it has a fucking ending where your character ends up with someone you don't choose, and not alone ends up with them, but ends up having a kid with them. Right? Because in the same fucking question he was saying, he says, maybe your hero isn't straight. Maybe there's another character that you can imagine being their soulmate. Maybe they like the mercenary life and don't want kids at all.
Right?
This isn't an RPG at that point.
Yeah.
There's no room for you to roleplay as that character and, you know,
have
get
the
into
freedom that would be had in other RPG games to do whatever you want in that situation.
Yeah, because it's like Yen and Triss. You can choose Yen. You can choose Triss. You can try to end up with both of them and end up out. You could decide not to even try for either of them because your version of Geralt is best at work in the field and not in a fucking country manor.
Yeah.
You can decide that shit, dude.
Yeah.
These are choices that are given to you, the player, throughout the course of this playthrough that make it feel more like it's your Geralt you're playing.
Yes.
It's still Geralt, but it's your Geralt.
Yeah.
So in this case, it felt like it was his, like Cassandra, he was playing through as a female, and it was his Cassandra. That was his point he was trying to make. Is like she had, you know, like he had been able to steer her through these minor choices and romance options that really didn't boil down to a fucking huge deal at the end, but he didn't bother him because it still felt like he was creating his own version of what he thought Cassandra should be.
Right.
Right? That's his choice as the fucking player in your role-playing game. To fit into a role and decide, okay, what kind of role is she going to be?
Right.
Is she going to be this? She going to be that? She going to be this? And maybe in his mind, she was that. She was like, nah, I'm going to fucking keep doing this because this is important. I don't want to settle down with an uninteresting character and have a kid with him because Desmond needs to have fucking ancestors?
Yeah. Which is another...
Is Desmond even in this fucking game up to that point?
And which is another loophole, by the way, because from what I understand, the romance that it forces on you is the child of the assassin leader, and he either has a girl
It's
or
whoever
a boy.
you're working with.
Right, but it's like canon that Desmond's ancestors, like, who is his parents? Because technically, the option of being able to be these parents or these parents, you know, like, what's going on here?
Who is his parents? Like, that's muddy.
Like,
down.
how about you just have it be like you could pick a number of different characters, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But those are still his parents. I mean, is there room for playing around? Is it set in stone? Like, are these character names already a part of the story?
Bring back romance options that the player had participated in during the first 70 hours.
Right.
Because that's what he said. He's like, this undermines the character you've spent 70 plus hours building.
Yeah.
It takes all of that time and says, no, you're this, you're with this guy, you're with this girl, and this is how your story ends.
Right.
And you're Desmond's great, whatever, because we need to tie all these motherfuckers together because they're all under the same fucking franchise.
Yep.
It's like, maybe you should just make an Assassin's Creed game and not have it be an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah. Like, just start a new fucking game?
Yeah, just have a new game. And, like, that's what I heard from the positive thing from a lot of reviewers is what they were going towards with this because they cut out a lot of that animus shit.
Right.
And all that backflashy shit. But what this DLC does is it's that fucking, at the end of fucking AC Origins when, like, Desmond walks in or whoever the fuck.
Whoever,
Yeah, I don't know
comes
who it was.
to wake her up out of the animus machine and says, we're taking you,
Part
we're
of
going
the
to
creed
Italy.
now. It was important you knew who your ancestors were. You're part of the creed.
You're no longer a Templar.
It's like, I don't even fucking remember what the fuck I had to do with anything
Exactly.
at all. It was like such a minuscule
What did that
part of
have to
game.
do with Cleopatra and the fall of
Yeah,
Rome?
dude, and like all of that. It's like, what? Just cut that shit. And so that's what I heard they were doing. But you're doing that same thing now.
Yes.
Through the DLC.
You are still tying these stories and characters together. I mean,
and ruining the RPG elements of your supposed ARPG.
Yeah, of the game which you are trying to be more RPG, to have more options, to have more player freedom.
You're marketing on this.
Yeah.
I've seen articles from Game Informer talking about the superb amount of choices the upcoming AC Odyssey will have.
Yeah.
And how it's great and all this.
So that's clearly what they're going for.
And I don't know, maybe this guy's just got his finger on the pulse and he's crowd pleasing. But I find it fucking hilarious that he's getting bombarded with fucking comments on Twitter such as, I've never liked the AC franchise, but if it's pissing people off this bad for a hetero relationship, I will probably get it. I will never avoid from this game. Genius. Not going to give you a click, but I can only imagine it's about the butthurt over the forced romance. Well, yeah. I think that's a valid fucking reason to be pissed.
Yeah.
The writing is god-awful in this article. Hiring from the bottom of the barrel, I see. Way to jump on the, I have to be a hetero wine bandwagon.
Yeah, what's hilarious.
One fucking sentence.
What's hilarious.
In the whole goddamn article.
And this is only one part of the whole article. Before this, he goes into actual game changes and weapons and skills and talents
and how it
doesn't added to the game.
And how it doesn't change up the game. It doesn't
At
feel like
all.
anything that just wasn't there in the beginning.
Which, go figure, you know? I'm sorry, but Assassin's Creed Origins, with how much I enjoyed the game, still had the fucking parry locked behind a skill tree.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if you're going for that type of thing, have it be a part of the fucking mechanics in the game. Don't have me level up and spend a skill point on a fucking parry. Like,
that was a great rant.
Why?
Like,
these are options, like...
It's like ADP in Dark Souls 2.
Yeah.
What a dumb fucking idea that was.
Level up and put fucking skill points into
so your
invincibility
dodge works.
frames.
So your dodge works.
Exactly.
Fucking pointless.
It's genius, these levels of fucking ideas that are put in there. But these are
this
good
is a good article,
yeah,
man.
these are good articles. And on the flip side, I think that I really appreciate AC Odyssey switching it up and adding
I
shit.
do too. I did with Origins.
Right. But like, to sit there and attack this guy and be like, you're full of shit and fuck you and fuck this article because you made one point in passing, which is actually a good point because it talks to the RPG elements of the game.
There are gay and lesbian romance options in the game.
So throughout the
male
game.
and the female character.
Yeah.
So these are all, and I have no problem with these things being there. I know a lot of people get pissed about this. I'm like, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fuck the dude. So it doesn't affect me at all.
Having more player freedom is just a
Why
good
does it
thing.
bother you if someone else who's like, I want to fuck the dude is like, I can fuck the dude?
Yeah.
That doesn't affect you at all.
At all.
At
if
all.
anything,
just fuck
it
the
just
chick,
makes
dude.
the game better for everybody.
Yeah. It's just like, it's creating these choices and options for the role-playing experience.
Yes.
Right? And I don't even care if those aren't there. In Elex, there, as far as I can tell, there's no romance options.
Right.
None. And it's not going to feel like any less of an RPG to me than The Witcher 3. In that aspect of it.
Right.
I mean, Witcher 3 obviously is a lot... There's things
There's layers within layers within layers, but still, having a lack of...
this has a lot of those RPG elements that I love. Being able to shift and like pick sides in conflicts that will affect the particular faction that is in charge of a city.
Right.
Like that sort of shit's awesome, dude.
Oh yeah.
Fallout fucking blow the nuke or fucking save the town type shit.
Yeah.
That's the sort of fucking shit that I see in a game and I'm immediately like, dope.
Yeah.
Origins had none of that. Origins was an RPG in fucking the most simplest of simple.
In leveling up. That was the only RPG. And in gear,
and
having different weapons.
And
it's
that
like...
was it. Like, that was it. There was, and even the skill tree, I wouldn't even call that RPG.
No.
If you're just leveling me up so that I can get that feel-good synapse because it's part of what your fucking psychologist told you to do, not because you understand what leveling up really signifies and what that should mean to my character in an RPG where I should be able to be building my character, like in Elex, like in The Witcher 3, where I can pick and specialize in certain things to make it feel like my character, my build.
Right.
No, we're given a cookie cutter fucking tree like Destiny, and it's an unlock as you go system.
And it's a
you
race.
will unlock all of this.
Yes.
You will have access to all of this.
Yep.
Now within that, maybe there's a couple little choices where they, like in the case of Shadow of War or Destiny, where they swap up a choice where this ability will now do this, or this ability now does this.
Right.
And it's like, oh, but I can just pause it and change that at any time.
Yeah.
So pointless.
Nice building.
And so like this guy to me, he just sounds like he wants more RPG in his RPG.
Yeah.
And less of this fucking convoluted muddling, like you said, the mudding down of this pond that is the AC franchise's story. Because it's something that they want to continue. It's something that probably fucking over 10 dozen minds have been writing for, if not more people.
Over how many years?
And you have outside media. I don't know for sure if there are, but I'm sure there's outside media in the form of comic books, novels, movies, whatever there is.
Definitely, I guarantee it. And that's why, like, for Assassin's Creed Origins, that's why I was excited, because the title in of itself, Origins.
Yeah, like, this will be the beginning. You will understand this by the end of this.
Yes, this is the beginning.
You would hope. You would hope. But then you're tore out and you're in Egypt and you're some chick and she's like trying to read her laptop and her friend's yelling at her about her breaking the rules and you're just like, man, can I get back to Egypt?
Yeah. Can I get back to the forming of the fucking Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, can I get back to the fun?
Because that's what this is. It's Assassin's Creed, this epic battle between Templars and Assassins, which still is going nowhere.
So all I'm going to say to the idiots out there with bigger mouths than they have brains. One, I understand the affliction. I suffered from it for many, many fucking years in my youth. Two, the change starts now, and like it's easier to shout something than it is to think about what you're about to shout and whether or not it makes sense. I don't think that attacking Game Informer for warning people that the DLC for a Ubisoft game might not be fucking worth it, and that maybe they should hold off buying it and save their money.
Which says nothing about the $60 purchase of the AAA game, which
consumer.
Yeah.
Remove your fanboy fucking feelings for a minute and understand that he's letting average Joes like me know that as an average Joe who's not hardcore into the franchise, because if he was, he wouldn't be as critical of it as he is in this article. Once again, linked right at the top of the description box. Go read it. Tell me if you can find any fucking problem with what this dude is saying.
Right.
I want to hear it below in the comments. Let me know. We'll talk about this. Because this is not an instance where we need this outrage, where we need to be attacking people. I mean, one guy was like, you're probably someone who's for the Gillette commercial. Like, come the fuck on, man.
Like, just pulling at straws.
Fucking got your pulse just right on the fucking heart of the fucking internet, don't you? You cool fucking cool little meme kid. You cool little meme kid. Who gives a fuck about that commercial? Fuck Gillette. Just don't buy their shit anymore. There you go.
Yeah.
Now we can quit fucking talking about it. Jesus.
There you go.
Not bitch about it on an article because some dude's like, hey, this RPG just took out all my RPG.
Yeah.
Fucking dumbasses. Anyway, I'm good.
I'm good. That's what I think about it. Legit. I feel like, you know, all these mainstream game journalism publications, especially Game Informer, PC Gamer, I've only heard good things about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And so obviously they're all wanting people to pick this up and they are all endorsing this game. However, this guy's just saying, you know, the DLC, stay away from it.
It's not even worth it.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it for the post-monetization release shit. And like...
Reminds me of a lot of articles and fucking videos I saw about the Assassin's Creed Origins DLC when I was thinking about picking that up. And I was just like, no, I don't need it.
Yeah.
I know what it is. It's nothing new.
Exactly.
It's more the same. I don't need to spend money on that.
Exactly. And so at that point, we need to just sit back and be like, all right, so obviously that one point isn't the only reason why he's pissed. And he's not even
this is a long article, guys.
Yeah.
This is a long article.
It's a long article.
It's a well-written article, man.
Very well written. And he talks about the problems with the DLC as a whole. But I'm sure that if you asked him, should I buy Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the base version of the game, he'd probably recommend it because he's talking from this perspective of somebody who genuinely overall enjoyed the experience within the game.
Yeah, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, he's criticizing it. Because from his perspective and what he put forward, I strongly agree.
Yes.
You're trying to canonize this ending and fit it in with this fucking muddled down story.
And you're selling it on top of the $60 price in the post-monetization release DLC, which is leading nowhere.
Yeah. It does nothing, it adds nothing to it, and it just says, hey, you're Desmond's grandfather, and this is his grandmother. Or you're Desmond's grandmother, and this is his grandfather.
Yeah.
You don't get to choose for no reason. There's, like you said, there's no reason you couldn't have just been able to choose.
Yeah, especially because...
Like, who's to say fucking, like, it couldn't have been X person you met throughout the beginning of the campaign.
Exactly. Like, is it just like a blank slate, like we don't know the name of his parents, or do we know the name of the parents? Because if we know the name of the parents and one of those endings isn't canon, it's fucking full of shit.
Is it a boy character or a female character? What's the canon
Is there room to play around? Is there room for fucking RPG
elements? And if there's not, then quit calling your fucking game an RPG,
Exactly.
Ubisoft. Call it a fucking action fucking game.
Exactly.
Get over yourself with your fucking skill tree that I always unlock the whole thing of.
Yeah.
Always. I've never played an Assassin's Creed game where at one point, well, I guess the ones I stopped playing.
Right.
But I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game to completion without at one point unlocking and owning all the skills.
Yep.
What's the point of leveling up?
There is none.
You unlock parry in Origins. I love how you remember that, dude. It pissed you off.
It pissed me off.
I remember that pissed me off, too.
There were so many things like that it was just like, dude, doesn't need to be there. It's just there because you wanted to fucking justify the level up system.
It's just there to fucking be there.
Yep, to justify that RPG.
It's that cookie at the end of the fucking determinate thing, and then they add fucking, you know, the gold, and then you add the fucking loot boxes, and there you go. You got the trifecta of brain psychologists fucking running fucking video games.
Yep.
That's it for me, Jax.
Chubs!
We love you. Till next time, keep kicking ass, stay awesome, and as always, everybody, thanks a whole motherfucking bunch for watching.